building a team. So a lot of the perception of game designers is that it tends to be a very solitary thing, sort of like writing. Is that you have like a creative that's working and putting something together and just doing it in essence in isolation. But with as with any sort of large task, if you're trying to aim to do things like to sell 1,000 copies of the game or to visit a heap of different events and conventions and things like that, um, it's extremely hard to do that alone. And I personally wouldn't want to do it alone because it's a lot of work and it requires a lot of specific skills that you can develop, but it's maybe not as efficient as just working with someone else on it. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about like team structure and like dynamics and assembling a team and like seeing like who do you need where and what is sort of important to building a team in context of a board game kind of operation if you get that far. And if you're selling 10,000 copies and doing really well and you're all over the world and all these different retailers and distributors and people love you, then that's going to be a good problem that you'll end up with. So yes, so obviously there's the core of the operation, which will be the designer or designers that are creating the products, and it's good if they have a really good knowledge of the design and the manufacturing stage, because then they can do it together and then can receive advice and get really good feedback and process feedback in a positive way, so from sort of the distribution marketing side to go, okay, well maybe certain things need to change because that will make it more appealing on a mass scale. So you've got your sort of designers and design core of that. Then the next really important thing, and at least what I found when expanding as a company, was that the logistics was the next trickiest part. So like, how do you actually deal with bulk orders and volume of getting games out there and messaging people and making sure that you can get back to everyone and stuff like that. The logistics side is the next kind of difficult hurdle to get over. And the reason that becomes before sort of like marketing and things like that is because if like marketing is great, but if you get a giant influx of orders and you can't actually meet that demand, then it's sort of it's not a chicken and egg situation. Like you need to be able to deliver on what you were saying you can deliver. But as long as you find a solution, it doesn't have to be a person necessarily, but someone needs to be able to do that in terms of the team. The next element of a team with a board game company that I would personally suggest is trying to find a regular, either contracted or employed or like assigned graphic design and artistic kind of person or persons. So the reason for that is that piecemeal assembling artwork and gathering it all and stuff like that is a big task for any project. So it took well over 100 hours just to get the images for a 54 card game. That was just the professional images and stuff. I did all of the actual like assembly of the images and stuff, and that's not my specialty, but I was still able to do it. But the game would no doubt look a lot better overall and be more visually appealing and easier to sell and promote and stuff like that with a dedicated kind of art squad. That one would be, I would say, like equally as important as having then someone who's in charge of like promotions and event planning and getting word about the game out there and what it is and how to play. So that would be sort of like a marketing / event planning person, whether they do online or in-person events. And in terms of the types of people that you bring into your team, there will be people who are amazing at what they do, but that might not necessarily mesh with your team dynamic as much as would be productive over the long term. So I personally have found that it's good to sort of bring people that are maybe not quite as like focusing on like ease of communication and like how do people resolve problems and stuff, or, and how do they talk to each other and talk to the team, and you know, are they prompt and excited about the ideas and stuff like that, because in the end, you can always gain skill, but if there's a fundamental clash in how people operate, then despite the really high level of skill that someone might have, you know, it might just not work out, and they might need to leave, and that can be, yeah, that can be very difficult to recover from, depending on how your team is set up and how much reliance you have on those individual parts, because finding a new person for your team can sort of take a while. Yes, so those are sort of the four main positions that I would recommend sort of finding assistance with, at least. Yeah, is like obviously the design, the logistics, the artwork, and the marketing angle of things. So this has brought us now to this is the final video of the bridge, so for now. So thank you so much if you've watched this far. I hope you've learnt some stuff. Some of the videos were a bit scrappy, but I mean, that's the point that we're at, and I'm really hoping to just grow from here. So please check out the rest of the site, visit ASIMS, visit the QUT site, have a look at Half Monster Games, and please let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of the series, what you think of this video, if there's any questions, if there's any feedback or suggestions. I am a huge community building person, and I would just love to hear from everyone. Just what do you think? So yeah, for the last time, as always, good luck.